the rabbi. Rabbi Rabito, please. It's been a minute. You must commit this show into the good Lord's hands.
Oh, Yehovah. Wagamene sowa mene sowa nima sowa nama sowa yo azebao. Wakogbele ya choma ncheyile aba wonda boshin. Ogenkete ete kata ogeleba hanwo. Ete kata. Oke shidambo shida petekple ni woke hambo. Mene ni woba. Lala bacho. Ne bacho feda. Lala bacho. Mene yu anokale fe. Mene oba jami. Hey. Mene keto kreku me hane towo. Keto kreku. Yo akamaya Chiame ise. Otto Addo lesmo na agba. Ya fo akefo. Keto kreku. Otto Addo. Yakweje o. Otto Addo yakweje. Etobo yeje. Otto Addo qualify akple. Afuma mai. Waka was small na agba. Quick. Minister eba buakunta. Minister eba buakunta. Won mele akunta bu ekumenyo. Eba bu akunta bu yalo gba. Oba tole be na bu arithmetic.
Arithmetic is a miracle.
Chuchu and I call it arithmetic. You are Jomo way. When the program come on yemi. Quick. Chinkete ba. Chinkete abale eba cho. Nabalaba. Yeah, yes, me. Amen.
So like I said, who will be Ghana's next coach? Let's get into the talk of it, or let me just give you just a quick sense of, what I made of Ghana's performance at the World Cup. I listened to the show last week, deliberately didn't contribute. I just wanted to figure out what everybody had to say about it. I listened to some interesting opinions about let's not blame individuals, it's a system. People even said that Otto Addo should be commended for the job he had done for Ghana. I was scandalized at that type of opinion. But quick thoughts is, look, like I've always said, and it's always the truth. It's all about your leaders. Leadership. And there's always going to be 3 tiers of leaders. I've done this for our YouTube already, but I'll do it again. Look, first of all, the FA must take the blame for this fall. We are doing too much of make wrong decisions, go and falter, apologize, hire a new coach, rinse and repeat. It's just becoming a very repetitive cycle, and it's not good enough. So I just think that, look, the FA, they need to do some serious introspection. First thing is this perception that they are heavily influencing who gets not just selected into the team, but who makes it on the match day squad. It is rife. Everybody who follows Ghana football to an extent believes this to an extent, and that is very, very problematic. Look, Mr. Okreku, you know, and I know that type of reputation is not good for your administration. You need to move away from it. And it doesn't help that you are on record to have said that no man will sit in a room alone and name a squad. And so I'm just asking myself that, are you now telling us that if you name a new Black Stars coach, you will be vetting his lineups, you will be influencing who makes his match day squad? These things are not, they don't help the team. They don't help the team at all. And so the FA really need to have a look at themselves. Again, when it comes to hiring a new coach, I think we'll talk a lot more about this today, but I'm just saying that let's not do these things again. Hire a part-time coach who spends half his time in his club, finishes a tournament, doesn't even come back to the country, finishes and says that, well, I told you that I'll be leaving anyway. These things don't help anybody. So the FA, please, you need to look at yourselves, because you cannot stand anywhere and tell anybody that you are faultless and spotless as far as the shortcomings of this team is concerned. Next thing is our captain, Andre Ayew. And I've been very disappointed in Andre Ayew. I'm not even going to lie. Yes, I've been very, very disappointed in him. First things first, look, like I've always said, everybody misses a penalty. Roberto Baggio, Eric Cantona, Ronaldo, Messi, everybody misses a penalty. It is what you do after the penalty miss that actually matters. I was just telling somebody that in all the times when we've needed Andre Ayew to be charismatic, all the times when Andre Ayew will beat his chest and rile up his soldiers, clap. I mean, we make fun of the fact that he claps a lot, but if there was a time where Ghana actually needed Andre Ayew to clap, this was the time. I spoke to Salis just yesterday, and he said that, look, when that penalty miss happened, everybody's shoulder literally just dropped. Everybody's head dropped, and they were looking to their leader to rally the team around. Guess who was pushing the Black Stars forward? 21-year-old Mohamed Kudus. That's just unacceptable. And to top it up, he and his brother were the only two Black Stars players who didn't go and thank the fans after the match was over. I thought that was unacceptable. And then, again, I'll say this. It might sound controversial, but I'll say it. To come up with all this stuff about dead godson, collapsed daughter, I think, no, I won't even say it's a lie, coach. I mean, I can't validate that. Even if it's true, we don't need to hear about it. Because, look,
it's a personal matter.
We don't need to hear about it. We only care about Andre Ayew, the footballer. And you are the ones who always say that we should judge you on your football and not talk about things outside your footballing life. Why are you using your daughter as a defensive shield for missing a penalty? You could have just apologized to Ghanaians, just like you apologized to your teammates in the dressing room. All of this it won't blow over, because you can ask Asamoah Gyan, it's not blown over 12 years. But it is what leaders do. Leaders take responsibility. We don't need all of this. Your godson died and your daughter collapsed. We don't need all of that. We don't care, honestly. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding insensitive, but we don't care about these things. You need to take responsibility, because, like I said, everybody misses penalties. Everybody. The greatest of players have missed penalties. And so you need to take responsibility for some of these things. That is what true leaders do. You don't hide behind all kinds of reasons to try and deflect. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So for me, I've been disappointed in how he's handled this whole situation. As now that we are speaking, Andre Ayew has not rendered an apology to Ghanaians on that missed penalty. He's resorted to all kinds of interesting tactics to make that happen. So for me, that's very disappointing. Finally, on the path of leadership will be Otto Addo. And I think that for Otto Addo, he needs to be very grateful wherever he is. He needs to do the sign of the cross and appreciate us for handing him this opportunity, because first of all, he didn't deserve this opportunity. And at every turn he's been given, he has tried to question the knowledge of journalists for questioning him. I remember his very first press conference talking about how somebody didn't know his football and didn't know tactics because he asked him a question.
For somebody
what was that all about?
You see, for somebody like Mr. Otto Addo, I blame him, but I also blame some of the people who told him to take that stance. I won't mention a name, but all of us in this parish know what I'm talking about. That somebody in Ghana football, somebody in Ghana football told Otto Addo to deliberately take that stance. Why? Because Ghanaian journalists, they are dumb. They ask silly questions. So whatever question they ask you, give them a silly response.
And I got that posture from him the whole of his tenure here. Even at the World Cup, you ask him a question and he wants to question whether you have the gravitas to be asking him that question.
It is because somebody has told him to do so.
You, trainer scout.
It's because somebody has told him to do so.
If Otto Addo was a good enough coach, Borussia Dortmund would have handed their reserve team to him. They would have handed their under 21 team to him. But you see, you've gotten an opportunity that nobody will get. And when he finished at the exit presser, I didn't hear any remorse in his voice. He didn't even sound disappointed. It was almost as if, well, I have nothing to lose. And like Samens likes to say all the time, people with nothing to lose, they are the most dangerous people in the world, because nothing matters to them. Nothing. I mean, if I lose the Black Stars job, I'm going back to Dortmund to go and continue my
trainer scout.
To me, I just think that, look, there are a lot of lessons to be learned in this. First of all, first thing is that we need to get our next hiring process right. We don't need to have a situation where we are hiring somebody on a part-time, we are going back and forth, we say, this is the government person, this is the FA person.
To get the hiring process right, we need to increase the budget. We cannot say we want pizza and yet it's bread money we have.
That's true.
If we say,
that's a big
if
factor.
we keep saying that we'll pay coaches 50,000, 40,000, we'll get $50,000 and $40,000 results.
That's definitely true.
You see,
That's definitely
the other day
true.
I was telling some mates of mine from secondary school. People say, "Oh, what about let's get a Ghana?" I say, "Hey, the key to any successful team is a competent coach. So the competence is what we should look out for first. But we should also understand that until the day when we have done enough to build up Ghanaian coaches, to have trained them well, to have schooled them well, and they themselves would have learnt well, we'll have to hire and hire and hire. And if we say we want proper results, then we need to be ready to pay. You can't sit in your house and say, I want pizza or shawarma when you have 5 Ghana and you can buy half a loaf of tea bread. You will not enjoy pizza or shawarma with 5 cedis.
Exactly.
If you say you want to win AFCON, do well at the World Cup, be prepared to spend money.
Look, if we were spending, as at the time we hired Avram Grant, we were spending 50,000. It's only right that we double the money as at now because the world has changed. A lot of things have evolved. So, I mean, it's not even just about money. We need to hire the right person and for the right reasons. It's just very, very important at this point in our life cycle as a football team. And I disagree that this team were just inexperienced, they were not ready. Everything showed in this World Cup that if we had had the right game management, we would have gone beyond that group stage. It was everything there to show that we could have excelled, we could have gone beyond this. So I'm just saying, you are the leaders, the FA president, the team captain. We don't have a coach now, but do the right thing because, look, our football pedigree is sinking. AFCON 2019, round of 16 exit. Cameroon 2022, group stage exit. World Cup 2022, group stage exit. We became so used to going to the semi-final that we thought going to the semi-final was not a big deal. Well, guess what? Now those standards have fallen off criminally and we can't even hope to get out of a group stage. So that's what it is. Coach?
I just want to say something
Yes,
before
so
you go on, especially about the whole daughter collapsing thing. It's not about the truth of it. It's about, and like you said, it's about the way it came out. Yeah. And even if his daughter did collapse, the timing of it made it look like, it made everyone so cynical. Like, it rather had the opposite effect of not gaining sympathy, but rather making people feel like you are trying to, hide behind your daughter. And it made you look bad. I think, and I feel bad because it diminished him. Because this is someone who just became a Muscat player in the lead up to the tournament and passed as Samoa Janjo in the tournament. And the first thing he does basically after the tournament is diminish himself with this. So I was very disappointed with how that turned out. And Ben is right. He should have handled this better. I'm not of the view that players should apologize unless there's misconduct. Players miss penalties or I'm not of the view you should apologize. But that whole post and all the stuff behind it was not the way forward. I don't think that's what he should have done. So I just wanted to touch on that as well. That I agree with Ben very strongly there. That was the worst possible move at the worst possible time.
Yep. Leaders take responsibility. Coach?
No, none of your Miji. Like you said. Me too, I want to comment on the collapsing issue. From my checks, nobody collapsed.
Oh.
No daughter collapse anywhere.
Oh.
That must be put on record. Nobody's daughter collapsed.
That one is your word against his.
No talk from my checks.
No, but
we talk to people.
I understand, but you see, that's the thing. If you say that,
no, I
understand.
You mean Mambi? I can Mambi. Tweboloy. Coach Nimley, in care, no daughter collapse anywhere. That is my checks.
Today they went to visit the chief imam.
No, no cash. No, moko collapse iko. Nikamo ko big collapse le when J was and we go.
But you also have to.
They want to go. We go.
No, but Nathan, I understand.
We go, Charlie.
We don't want to bring your personal life into football. We want to focus on footballing issues.
If you knew your godson was dead, just tell the coach, I'm not in the right frame of mind.
Somebody's house got burgled and he left.
Rahim Sterling, they went to see Rob. He just Swordgate. I'm not in the right frame of mind. Swordgate. Go back to
Ben White.
Ben White. He's gone.
Ben White is great. He's not even told us.
He's not that.
Yes.
I have to leave. So I'm
family
going.
issues. I'm gone.
You see?
So that aside.
Swordgate.
Now, in Ketia, we are looking at the way forward. Me.
The way forward.
The way forward. You. If I am Keto Kriku, he has to resign.
I think Oliver Bierhoff has resigned, hasn't he?
Team manager.
No more.
Yeah. He says
The
team needs
records,
direction.
the records are there. Under his presidency, we went to the AFCON. Me, since Ghana, Ghana was knocked out in the first round in 2006. But even that one, we
won
had
man.
3 points.
3 points.
It was Senegal. From a very acute angle.
From a throwing.
Near post.
Edim. Simple.
Isa Ahmed Yagbe washing. Okayo. Ewo. If you look over Bashian.
Isa Ahmed.
Egbe washing. Isa.
Serious.
That we also. But under Keto Kreku.
1 point.
When we went to the AFCON.
1 point.
Ekome. Come on, work. Ekome complete. We've gone to the World Cup.
Last Pepe.
We did not only come last in our group, but if you put all the African teams together,
Last Pepe.
complete.
Complete. Quick.
All because of dishonesty.
Oh, coach, that's not all. Oh. Black Queens, no AFCON, no World Cup. Under 20 women, ban. Under 17,
roughly for 6 years.
Oh, just been a catastrophe, one catastrophe after the other.
He should leave the
Look, the moment it happens, then there's an apology.
But they didn't apologize for the black. There was one that
They
they
have still. I'm
girls who were
asking
banned.
the people who have been going to Facebook to lie.
I have to address this. When you finish, I will address
Look,
it.
lie. You've seen the need to go and lie in defense of a player. Omale from player. What sort of behavior too is this? You are just lying. Through your teeth. No, Omale Neke.
Thou shalt
They have not seen the need to ask the FA to come and explain to Ghanaians why our under 20 women's team have been banned for the next 2 editions of the FIFA World Cup. Nobody has. Nketia, has the FA given
I have not.
no explanation.
Not written.
We
not
move
spoken.
on.
nothing. The day that story broke, that we're going to hit, that was the day they spoke about the nationality switch of some of our players.
Iñaki Williams.
Iñaki Williams came about to a blaster.
Coach, what does Dre mean?
Rubbish.
I can't lie. He was not that
Inaki
good.
played 3 games and didn't
struggled.
play.
One shot on target. Ampam.
It's called a dummy. It's called a dummy. Pam assist. It's called a
They
dummy.
said he was not getting enough service.
They need to address Amante Chefu Fa.
Like a coach, I know back. It's a no go.
Okay. Look,
I just want to say Inaki Williams did a dummy. I will defend him. He did a
stop
dummy.
that.
One Ampam.
So Nketia, Keto Kreku should resign. Quick. And if he doesn't resign, I'm using this platform to tell football people next year in the election, vote him out. Quick. Vote him out quick. Without delay. No second thought on this matter. Because the records are there.
They are
and they are clear. Very crystal clear. No spot. You see the way the light is clear in darkness. It's clear. No more agile.
Quick one. No candle. No lantern. Light bulb. Clear.
He made
LED.
Otto Addo cry. No more Otto. Otto Addo. He cried.
But I can't feel pity for Otto Addo.
No more.
We can't sit here and feel pity for him. No,
No,
he took the job. He knew what he was getting.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you see, our leaders should be told that trespassing is a very bad thing. Keto Kreku administrator, Chuonu Chumo. Ghanaians, take this from me. Gideon Mensah was never injured against that he couldn't have played
And
against.
never did
Uruguay.
he tell anybody that he was injured.
That was
It
a
never-
lie.
it never-
Moshe Tofik, amale ne ba male, male ni mi che egbe male,
he
mi
needs-
she legbe
no,
ye.
he needs to call him out.
He said like this.
Because he posted.
He posted it. He wanted
this
people
with
to
his-
know
with his
with his
chest.
chest out.
Yeah.
He lied on the boy.
This-
And
this
did
thing-
what? He lied.
These things are unacceptable. Unacceptable.
National
to
asset.
say that a player gets a chance to play a World Cup
And then he's faking
feigning
injury.
I mean, how?
When we could all see that the boy was cramping.
Meanwhile, we've seen so many players go there injured to try and play.
Make money.
We are now seeing someone.
He's faking. Okay, he faked the injury. I can't play Ebawami. They brought your player in. The player for which you are lying on somebody's player. Look, the next coach of the Blasters, left to me alone, all those who are there. Oh yeah, Otilo, quick.
Apart from Chris Hutton.
I'm a fan of Jay. Not even Chris Hutton. I'm a fan of
No, coach, last week you wanted him to stay.
Yes,
He
but
said if anybody.
He has had a recalibration.
You change your mind.
I've changed my mind. I'm a fan of
Clear. All of them. Good. All of them. Quick.
I'm a quick. We should go for a competent, top-notch coach.
But coach, what is the guarantee that whoever comes in will also not be dictated for?
If you go and get heavy Renan, can't get to cricket.
We can't discuss Renan. We can't pay him. Let's go on with the show. It's okay. It's fine. Let's go on with the show. Argentina have scored. It's 1-0.
Look, the fact of the matter is this. We need to get a very competent coach. Somebody who will stand firm against Ketokriku and is this very incompetent administration. We need to get a coach of that stature. Somebody who will be very open and honest in our player selection. Somebody who will look at the opposition and say, look, with this inexperienced team that I've got, this is the way we are going to go about it. Everybody believe in the... We saw Milo doing his topmost days. Did the same thing. Milo, in 2010, he took a very inexperienced team to the AFCON. You remember in Angola, we even lost our first game. Milo took an inexperienced team all the way to and Makelesen even got injured. The player that we're all hoping will lead it even got injured. An inexperienced team, Milo took them all the way to because he guided them properly. So we should be looking along that line. And for me, I'm telling His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, the next AFCON, Papa, is your last opportunity to win an AFCON for this country.
You mean even it is his last AFCON?
It's his last AFCON. Even that one guy, he's lucky that the team is being played in January. Because he is going after serving this country. He'll be leaving. What a legacy. Can you imagine that?
Round of 16
It would
exit,
have been
group stage exit.
In 8 years, since you became president of Ghana, what a round of 16 at a group stage, group stage. What is that? We need to do something proper under his regime. No more Blacabo. So we need to take the best of decisions.
The current state of results are unacceptable.
Very unacceptable.
But 2017,
and the flag stars. Look,
yes, that was the last time.
2017.
Yeah, that was the last one we went to the semis.
So he has one.
It feels like such a distant memory, though.
It's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
If you go to semis, it not completely cancels out the semis. Completely. So that is what we should be looking at. The next year's football election. Look, my advice to football people. All our national team is corrupted. No more. All the national team. When I say it, people don't want me to say it.
At all levels.
Look, if Ketokriku personal security man is the man guiding our Black Stars, hey!
He was taking selfies with Son.
What was he doing there? Because look, his driver is the kit manager. The pure water,
No, as for these things, as for those ones, you see, I can't make a case against these things because again, look,
Wally.
if it's an equipment manager, he's at liberty to hire who he thinks is fit.
Oh no.
As for those,
There's people.
once he thinks that the person he's hiring is competent, he's at liberty to hire those people.
He's hired them.
No, to be fair, what does a driver know about kids management? At
Kids
least find
management.
someone,
That's what I'm saying.
someone from another
That's what I'm
club
saying.
or something. You get what I'm saying?
I cannot vouch for if that is.
If you are not
thing
part
or
of
not.
Proton Consultancy, you will not get closer to them.
Proton!
I feel basa. We should stop these things. We want to look, Charlie, our football is dead.
Yep.
Our football is virtually dead.
And what's painful is we have really good players.
Oh,
We have really good
Easter
players.
too is next year. Oh. Easter is next year. Resurrection is not now. Oh, no, boss, man. Resurrection is not now. So just buy out diligently, politely. Go out of the scene. Leave the scene. Tell your people, look, you are so incompetent that you have to leave the scene. You personally led Otto Addo to drop our best players going to the World Cup. Can you imagine? Joseph Pencil, of all his minutes, you see, Joseph Pencil have never played 90 minutes this season. Nathan, do you know that for a fact?
Hasn't played 90 minutes.
No. In
for
all
his
his
club.
games, he's played less than 75 minutes.
Okay. Why?
And
is that?
all those statistics, brilliant, solid statistics, were all in 75 minutes.
Okay. So he doesn't play 90
He
minutes.
doesn't need 90 minutes to make a mark. That is the point I'm making. You drop such a player, Jeffrey Schlupp, because of Panorama. Look, Sasa. Exactly. What is the conclusion? Sasa, better. No more Tawabo Nation. No.
They brought us their customary
Yes.
apology.
Yes, Sasa.
The one they had typed already waiting for
Sasa.
us.
But Omobua, the football people, the delegate in football, come 2023. If you people don't stand up for Ghana football, then our football will never resurrect. All those who will be voting, I'm telling you, Ketokreku is never the future of Ghana football. Because we're going. Ketia, my last point. When is the minister coming to do the 1+1?
The minister, I think we reached out to him. We wanted an interview. We are hearing that he is sort of gathering his materials. Very soon he will speak to the press. But I don't think no, but actually, what you don't know is that the minister was not in charge of money distribution. At the World Cup. I think this might actually go a little higher than him, because the intelligence I am gathering is that based on the country's current economic climate, the ministry was not in charge of our money at the World Cup.
So
actually.
who was?
I think this was higher up to the Jubilee House. This was a Jubilee House.
Hey, but I know money for
A Jubilee House thing. So this was actually
So are
higher
they-
up
so are
than
they
the
So we
giving
are
us-
waiting.
So are they giving us 50,000 for the next coach? Is that the same?
We are waiting.
We don't know about that.
And we want to see those people who were what? Who we hosted are there.
Yeah.
MPs who should have been in parliament
Debating the
were
budget.
all there. You saw them, didn't you see them?
I did.
You saw them taking selfie and go.
I ran into a couple of them actually.
Yes. Who hosted them? Was it the taxpayer? We are waiting for the budget breakdown. We are waiting for the calculation. No.
I think essentially
Some of us too are doing our homework.
I think the question will be put, and eventually the minister will appear on the floor of parliament to answer.
I trust Honorable Neelante van der Poel.
The question will eventually be
I
put.
trust
to
Honorable Samjata George. They will put the right question before this minister. And he will come and explain to us. Proper breakdown. We don't want any 4 million, 2,000, 4,000. We don't want that. Like Honorable Esiama did when the figures were before him, in front of him, and he couldn't see.
It was there, but
He was
couldn't
in
see.
fact completely dazed. Yampesa, we are waiting for them. Numa jaw blasters.
Thank you.
Yowa, konine. Afon blasters, no war blaster, no
We have so much potential.
We have so much. Yowa, Joma, Mofia Monini, a fit our team, the name, Yowa, Bodenche, Jemola, your team, Memmy. About bench bench get she let me be what is he holding that you cannot drop him? What is he holding that you cannot drop him? Or no kitadien or kitadien. When you say chain recording here on to me calling him. When you say chain
Apostle.
Even Ronaldo has been benched
Apostle.
by Portugal.
can you imagine? We couldn't bench out. We couldn't here. We can't pass the ball forward.
But did I use 32?
We are a joke.
37
And
is not
which is even why our decision not to bench him is atrocious. Like somebody who at 37 is playing at a higher level than your 32-year-old captain, he could have benched him, and your 32-year-old captain, you can't bench him.
Can you imagine?
We are not serious.
Like I've said, the next Blasters coach will have some good decision to make. I rest
Nathan.
my case.
Nathan, next Black Stars coach, who are you trying to see?
Oh, for me, I can't think of any name, but for me, the most important thing concerning that appointment is whether or not that coach gets a free hand to work, because I've never seen anybody who has done a good job or who is working and gets interference and succeeds. Nobody succeeds. Absolutely nobody succeeds when there's interference.
And this is very hands-on interference.
Yes, so-
very, very hands-on.
So all I would say is that the next Black Stars coach, whoever it is, please, the GFA should allow him to work. You see, look, once, and somebody will say, oh, it is a perception. You can say so, but at least Siki Akono, who just left the role not too long ago, has alleged that there is,
he couldn't
not even
have-
alleged,
he's-
he
he's
said it.
black and white. He said
He
it in
said
black and white.
there's interference.
Yep.
We've had the FA boss say in an interview that he won't have his say on national team call-ups and all of those kinds of things. So for me, I just look, whoever it, because you see, when people interfere, or when I hear stories of the FA's interference, I laugh and I laugh at the FA because we all want the same thing. Everybody wants it to work. You want it to work. So when you interfere,
Are you sure you and the FA want the same
I'm just saying. I'm assuming so. Even though I've heard some of our colleagues theorize that it is not the case, and shouts to our very good friend Collins Atapoku.
Ah.
You know, he has a theory that the football people don't want
They
it to
don't want
work.
the same thing.
But you see,
They have their own goals.
you know, so whatever it is, the next FA coach should be allowed to work independently. Because whatever happens, if you allow him to work, I always say that if you allow people to do their work, you now have the freedom. When the day of reckoning comes, you have the right to also lay out your points, because you allowed the person to do their own thing until the vehicle landed in a ditch. Then you can also explain to them. But if you are interfering in the end, when it fails, who do you blame? Yourself or the head coach? You know, so they should allow the next coach to work and work independently. The next coach too should be bold enough to look into the people, the eyes of whoever it is, and tell them that I am doing the work. You are not doing the work. And if you don't understand, I work, then you can handle the team yourself. Because all these funny stories we keep hearing, I find them very puzzling. Don't we see what other countries are doing? When we say we want to succeed, those who are successful, are they doing the things we are doing? Are we doing what they are doing? So if we are not doing what they are doing, how do we expect to get there? Look, it is not about money. Money is important in building your football, but just obeying simple rules and principles. Allow the coach to work. Give him his support. Do what you do best. Do the administrative parts. Provide all the things. Those who have succeeded have respected those basic principles. I don't think that in Germany, who here knows the name of the German FA boss? Nobody knows his name.
Well, our FA boss is in the dressing room giving Martin Luther King speeches, but he will not take a psychologist to the World Cup.
Nobody knows who the German FA boss is. The best we know is Hansi Flick and by extension, Oliver Bierhoff. That's all. But in our case, you have people in the midst of everything taking the wrong decisions. For example, how do we go to a World Cup without a team psychologist? And if the people at the FA sent one...
Meanwhile, you should have seen the entourage around the team.
If the people took one and we don't know their name, we are open to knowing his name or her name. You understand? But the point is, we are going into a World Cup or to a World Cup, knowing the emotional surrounding or the emotional context of a particular game. And yet, we walked blindly into the game, not understanding the emotional weight of the day. And look at what we went to do. How can we do this? At this level, we are prepping we are going to a World Cup, and I've gone through the list of the people who were sent there and there was no psychologist? How? Knowing that
just not serious.
Knowing that your team is young, one. Knowing that you are going to play a certain game that has this emotional weight attached to it. For the first time ever, the Black Stars played a group game that felt like a semi-final game because of the emotional setting, and yet we bundled it. So also the people handling the football, my colleague Atapo, who calls them the Football Republic, they will have to learn to do things right. And to the President of the Football Republic, His Excellency Keto Kweku, you see, when I say Ben says it's not true,
Martin Luther King.
me,
That's how you should call him.
I'll say that you want it to work. I want it to work. But you see, it cannot work when we don't do things right. Next year is an election year. And with all these things happening in your term, what are you going to sell to delegates? And the record has not been pleasant. It has not been good.
Not just with the Black Stars. If we know it to the Black Stars, it looks
Black maidens, it's just not working. So we have to start to do things right. We have to start to do things right. If we want to succeed, the path to success has been defined by other countries. Let us do what they do. Let us take this football thing seriously. It is no joke. It is not a circus. It is not a comedy show. It is serious business. And we have to attack it seriously. We have to start treating football as a serious issue. The final thing I'll say is the state, and I'll attack the state. The state doesn't show any interest in sports unless the Black Stars qualify for an AFCON. Or we qualify for a World Cup. When our women's teams qualify for tournaments, we are not even this excited.
Crickets. You don't hear anything.
You see, when we do this, it won't work.
And they always stand a better chance of winning us trophies too. That's the irony.
We do some of these things, it won't work. The state must start to show more interest, not only in giving the Black Stars money, but in developing this area called sports. Go to other countries. Go and see how much. Go to Morocco. Do you think it's by chance that in the last 2 years, Moroccan teams are the only teams winning the Champions League, playing a Confed Cup? Their women's teams are doing well. It is not by chance. They didn't wake up and took Harry Potter one and say, Axio success, and then the success came.
They just do that.
You have to work for it.
Don't do that.
You have to work for it. Look, when the Black Stars come to... Do we have a place where the Black Stars train when they are in town?
We don't.
We don't?
Charlie.
Meanwhile, when we send them to go and play on the AstroTurf, the players complain that this AstroTurf is to destroy our knees.
Why should they be training on AstroTurf
In the first place. Meanwhile, what are they doing at Pam Pam? Meanwhile, go to other places.
I thought Pram Pram was where they've been training when they come. Why do we build it there?
Every year, FIFA brings the money.
See, if you see the conditions at Pram Pram, and you tell any Black Stars player to go and sleep there,
Scorpions.
they will give you the middle finger. I'm telling you.
Scorpions.
Apart from
it is not.
Listen, you understand me? My point is, we supposedly built something. Why did we build it? What did they do? And why are they not even maintaining it?
And you know what's crazy? Pram Pram just needs somebody to say, we are putting this money here, because the land is there. It's huge land.
When
Infantino
came to Ghana, they should have taken him there. Do you know where they took him? To the swag, the one at Kotobabi.
The Wembley place.
The Wembley pitch.
Imagine.
And also
They should have taken Infantino to the...
as I
to Pram Pram.
The state needs to get more serious.
I saw a Sipon 2 days ago. I nearly...
The state needs to get more serious. And that seriousness should extend to our lawmakers too. When we are doing serious things, you've left. You are in Qatar.
Oh, there were plenty there.
Honorable Napo.
What is all
Honorable
this?
Eslo
What is all this? Self-innovation.
No more.
I saw Nanabi. I don't know if it's what you're talking about.
He's not an MP. He's working for the party, MPP.
The seriousness, you see, our lack of is just exemplified in that. We don't pay attention to sports. The football that we claim we love, look at what we are doing to it.
Countries in economic crisis,
then
and lawmakers are in Qatar taking selfies. Are you serious?
We need to know where they slept. We need to know who paid for those bills.
Ben, for me, going forward, I've said what I have to say. My very good friend, the Honorable Sports Minister, I beg you, be up and doing. Be up and doing.
Sports minister. He's the weakest sports minister I've ever seen.
Let me
He's not up to that. Take
I'm
him.
saying, right until
But you know that
until
Akufo-Addo doesn't
Ascom,
remove anybody.
Pay your welcome.
he's not going. The president won't. change it.
Akufo-Addo doesn't sack anybody.
See,
He won't
what
sack
I'll say is
anybody.
that the honorable sports minister be up and doing.
He won't sack anybody.
Be up and
Akufo-Addo, he
doing.
won't sack
The
anybody.
finance minister is still a post. Why should they sack Musa?
Exactly my
That
point.
is what the
Yeah,
problem
that's
is.
what I'm saying.
That's what the problem is.
Guys, so just
My
finally,
little savings, oh, no more
Well, some small bit of small bit of news coming in is that Brazil's head coach Cheech has resigned. So
He was already. He was
on his
this was
way
his
out.
last
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
Anyway, so look, Mr. Sports Minister, please be up and doing. We are begging you, be up and doing. There is a lot of work to be done. There is a lot of work to be done. Please be up and doing. Please be up and doing. Go around, finish those resource centers. They have stalled. Get money and finish them. Because that is your legacy.
$9 million. If you cannot take some of that $9 million to go and finish all
Finish
these
all
resource
those
centers.
things. And when you
No,
are done,
poor mommy.
and when you are done, please sit down and have a conversation with your very good friends at the F and tell them that Pram needs a facelift. Pram must be upgraded. We are falling behind. Morocco is spending good money on developing football, and it is showing. We cannot fall behind because one day when we wake up, everybody would have left us
Look,
behind.
the talent we have, Morocco doesn't have even 20% of that talent.
Nope. But they know how to
They
develop
know how
talent.
to develop talent.
Susu, let me come to you before Daniel. Next Black Stars head coach. Do you have anybody on your wish list?
You see-
What do you think we should be doing
You see,
right? Do you
if
think it's about
if
money?
we have a wish list, then we can wish.
Thomas,
Do we have the
people-
budget? Of course not. If you are telling me 50,000,
Do you think we need to? I want to ask specifically. Do you think we necessarily need to spend, let's say, 100,000 to get a competent coach? Is it tied to money?
I will say you get what you pay for and you get what you hire. And that was my point last week when he came to Otto Addo. Once we hired him with no experience and he came and he made mistakes, what do we expect? It was if he came and didn't make any mistakes, that would have been the surprise. You see what I'm saying? So if we say we want a good coach, we have to go for a good coach who has a proven, we can see,
What you've done?
you see what you've done.
Yeah.
And the person who can see what he's done, he's also going to ask for a certain amount of money.
Whoever Renard?
It's not going to come cheap, whoever that person is.
I don't think we can. I think he's out of our league.
I'm not even saying.
I don't think we can.
You see,
hire
that man
Renard.
has a personal affection for this country.
Oh, but coach, you don't. Personal affection doesn't
No,
mean
but
that.
if we show him 150, you come and coach.
Hey, you 150,000 Ghana. No, we don't have that money.
We have just
That kind
spent
of
we have just spent $8.1 million doing nothing,
at the World Cup.
achieving nothing,
I understand.
complete disgrace.
I understand where you're coming from. But 150 to 200,000. Even Ghanaians will understand.
You see,
You see, that's the thing. Ghanaians will say they want a good coach, but the moment you hire the coach, they will start converting his money into CDs. That's what we do here.
unfortunately,
that is what
you can't pay the coach in cities.
The moment you,
And so the
the moment-
conversion of the dollar to cedi is because of bad economics
Yep.
that we run in this
Yep,
country.
yep. The moment you hire a coach for even $100,000, say, hey, in the second, what they cost this one, saying, Susu, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I was saying, the wish list, you can call all the names. There've been some very good coaches at this World Cup. But if we were to call any of them, do we have the money to pay them? And secondly, the type of politics and things around our FA, would they be willing to work under those conditions? Would they be willing to work and an FA worker to Kweku will see your final 25 and say, hey, remove this person, bring this person.
Yeah.
Because he says he's involved.
I hope you are hearing what is coming
Yeah.
for the Black Galaxy.
He said,
Started his skirmishes there too.
no, he said he's involved. What he does in that involvement there, I don't know. But with a coach of the caliber we want, because we talk about ourselves as a top African team, a team that should be winning AFCON, getting to the round of 16 at the World Cup, going to every World Cup for Africa. Look, the next World Cup is 9 places.
Yeah.
We will be there. Unless we go and sleep in the qualifiers, we will be there. So that one will be there. What will we go and do there? That's the question. Because if you look at the results we produced, we did not do well. The only reason that I have some hope is that, first of all, it's a fairly young team.
Yeah.
Secondly, we basically took a head coach who was doing his first head coaching job.
Yep.
As we were watching Otto Addo, he had very little experience. The experience he had was as an assistant trainer. He didn't have head coach experience. So me, if I see what we did based on the squad we took and the manager we took, I'm not upset.
Understood.
Obviously, I would have wanted better, but I'm not upset based on what we took. So when we look at this head coach we're looking for, we want to get someone experienced. That one, we can't compromise on the experience. And for me, I would prefer if we had a Ghanaian coach. That one I'll say it. But who is the Ghanaian coach? And as
Proton consultant.
and
Proton be here.
and-
I'm a Proton.
and that's where I was even coming to. If we believe coach, because coach is making some allegations we cannot substantiate. If the coach you are going to hire is going to be someone who is in the GFA president's pocket, in the sense that he's not independent, because we need an independent coach in the sense
the
that
only coach who can
Why
stand
is
up to the only Ghanaian coach who can stand up to the GFA
Who is
president.
that?
Mayele.
And they won't hire him.
Akwesi Appiah.
But they won't hire him.
but-
And I don't think
but coach,
Ghanaian-
I don't think we should go
Ghanaian-
for-
I don't
we should
think
go for
Ghanaian
President
will be
for
happy
number
about
two.
it.
No. Not that we want, but if it's
Yeah.
about standing out to Ketokreku, Mayele.
But talking about Maele, have they paid him?
Lord have mercy. We're looking at $200,000 coaches.
No,
Okay,
because we
let's
have
go.
to pay them, and then you consider the current economic situation of the country, because we are not talking in a vacuum. We have to be realistic.
And that's what I was saying.
You see, when
That-
it came to spending 8.1 million, did they consider the current economic situation? That is the problem.
So we also
It's a big problem.
That's where the problem is.
and no coach. Listen,
They'll tell you that money didn't come from your coffers. It came from Qatar. That's what they'll tell you.
so whatever the case
It's
is,
our money. Oh.
It's our money.
but you see,
They're not serious.
if we are in this current economic situation where depositors are losing money,
No,
the government can't pay back money supported.
You mean you have received haircuts?
with a boy in Chapadigma yeah
Oscar,
so
yeah.
much a bank
Yeah, but
I will storm there next week.
No more.
You mean
you will storm there?
storm there? How can you look? Take your profit and give me back my principal.
You mean you
You
will
born dog. You touch my principal. What a scab again?
You mean you will storm there?
Storm there next week. I've told them.
Cool down, Numo. Cool down for
I
me.
have told them that take all your profit
And give me
but
my
you
profit.
cannot take your profit from me and take my money. Who bondo? Who bondo?
To land for me.
Just on a side note, I took some investment advice for Coach Nimli, so I'm in the boat. So where you are going, I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
Take your profit and give me back my money.
I'll go with
Yeah.
You cannot touch. What sort of economic jargons is that? You touch my principal. But Oleni Anashka and Nikaba Ubanke.
you. We'll go.
Cool down, Numo.
Coach,
You see,
coach, you know where to find me. We'll go.
Land for me. I beg you. Land for me. Let me go to Daniel.
So when you consider all these things, it will be very difficult to get a quality coach, and that's the painful part. Because if we don't get a quality coach, we'll waste.
Going back, we are going to go in circles again.
It's not even that we'll waste the talent of this team. We've seen that there's talent. Thomas Partey is what 29, 30. So it means he has maybe four good.
Next leader of the team. Only Kamadi, Osman
And
Buka,
so he has
young boys.
So he has 4 good
Take
years.
me,
This is probably his last but one World Cup.
Yep.
And when we have him in the next World Cup, he'll probably be on the decline.
Yep.
So our next AFCON is probably his best chance to win something. You look at Mohamed Kudus, look at Kamaldeen, those are Mohamed Salisu. We have the players coming up, and even Inaki Williams, if we are even going to get anything out of him,
Next AFCON is our
it's the
last.
next
bet.
AFCON too. So the next 2-3 years is very critical for this team to win something and make the best of what we have.
We don't need a coach who will tell his best goal scoring midfielder, our forward, and that football is not all about goals and assists. That was what Otto Addo told Joseph Pencil. From the two camps, I've gotten this information from Otto Addo's camp and I've gotten this information from the boys' camp.
Yep.
Otto Addo told Joseph Pencil, somebody whose focal point is forward thinking, taking the ball forward to go and score. He told him that
Football is
is not all about goals and assists because Keto Kreku had told him that he shouldn't take Joseph Pencil to the World Cup. And I asked the Keto Kreku people, if Joseph Pencil was your player under Proton, man, would you have taken him or not?
Proton. Daniel,
Maybe I make the way anymore.
keep the fire. More tuition, Numo. DK, next coach hiring. What are you trying to see different?
We want Chich.
Hey, Charlie.
And Tite resigned.
But unlike
How will
Chichen, the changes he was making today, there was if every change is exactly the player on the bench you are bringing on, what have you changed? You're just bringing more energy. And I'll be. The coaching is doing something interesting with your changes. He didn't do anything.
We'll get to that.
Like for like.
Let Daniel just finish that. We'll get to that Brazil game.
In case, yeah.
What up?
See you.
What up?
Ghana, we are not serious.
At all.
At all.
Oh, Nketia is true.
Oh, you mean the country or the national team or everybody?
We are all involved. We are all involved.
Those days when we were in school.
Oh,
We are all involved in building a mother. One like me jele. Ni a chọtị wọ. Bịa na kan bi the fan call to school say alado.
Nketia.
Yo.
So last week you were not around there.
No, I was not.
I was talking about a mentality issue that we have as a country.
Oh, but I've told you already the problem, the solution.
No, you see,
Kurt Martin Luther King Okreku
he is not serious.
granting big time speeches in the dressing room.
Nketia, I was doing some.
Like a psychologist.
I was doing some reading and thinking this weekend.
Oh.
And I
Deep
saw that,
thinking.
no, Charlie, this thing is a deep-rooted Ghana football problem. It's not just a Black Stars problem, and it's not just a current crop of Black Stars problem.
It's an age-old
It's an
problem.
age-old problem, and it's affected almost every national team that we have. When the stakes are high, when the thing is clear, do this, then something good will happen to you.
Yep.
We always manage to bottle it.
Oh, Charlie.
And you see, I was doing some thinking. And when you go back to the document that Germany put together after the Euro 2000 exit, you know, it wasn't just football in terms of football training.
No.
See, it's so detailed, it even goes down to mentality, psychology.
He even talks about how to get players to finish high school and make sure they get their high school degrees. It's all part of.
It's so
Go
detailed.
to school, you don't play.
And you see, what I learned from it is that it's a simple principle. If you control the football development of your own players, you can control their output at the end of the day. If you don't have any functioning grassroots system, and all you do is wait for a Spanish team to develop the player and bring, you are getting skilled players, but with football education from different places. It is not centralized. And now when they come as finished products, you are now trying to align them with your principles. And that's why we are suffering.
Do we even have principles from what you've seen in the last few months?
Oh no, there are things that you see, not from the GFA. There are things that
About, like, in terms of development.
yes,
No, I'm talking about, do we have principles as a Ghanaian team?
Ghanaian football or Ghana football over the years, there are some things that we want to see from our teams. Both how they play on the pitch, how they carry themselves off the pitch, on and off the pitch. And I'm saying that if you don't fix that fundamental problem in terms of grassroots, if you don't have systems in place to make sure that when young players are coming up, you are the one who has control over how they are molded into finished products. If you don't have that control, this is what you see. You see somebody coming in, a young player of 22 years, his mind is on the trophy. Somebody who is 23 is shooting TikTok. Somebody who is 29 is looking at, okay, this is my last.
I said this before.
I don't care.
Yep.
Everybody will come there with a different
Everybody,
mentality.
yeah.
Everybody will come
Different
there with
ambitions, different.
ambition.
Yep.
But when the fundamentals are strong, from Ghanaian fundamentals, you control it. You decide. You are teaching. It's like an educational system. There's a reason why most of us think a certain way, not just in terms of academic, in terms of culture also, because we've all been brought up through the same system. So when you listen or you put one, let's say a conversation out there, there's a likelihood that Ghanaians will think in a certain way, because we all pass through that particular system. And that is the point. Look, it is high time we take this thing seriously. We can't be doing, oh, our team is gifted. There's so much potential. Look to the Black Stars team. How many of them got their football education from Ghana? 26 players. Look closely.
A honeyest.
How many of them?
How many even played a meaningful league season before they left?
Look,
like
and I'm
a
not,
meaningful league
I'm not
season.
talking about, oh, this one played under 17. No.
Education.
Education. Your proper education.
We don't have some.
As in until about the age of 20,
Let me just
21.
add this. In 2014, when we came back from the World Cup, and the Jemefe Commission was put up,
Yeah.
the Jemefe Commission thought it wise to bring together technical brains of this country. The late Uncle Ben Kofi, the late Coach Sam Ade, Ote Akente, Professor Minta, Masaudi Dramani, Coach Opele, due to family reasons, was not able to be part. And I was the secretary to that committee. And we were given the task to give Ghana a football brand. A brand that will ensure that as you run through all our national team,
Something you see.
something you will see very common. The then FA, headed by Kwesi Nyantakyi, was solely against the technical team or so-called technical director of the FA working for the commission, because in their view, the commission was set up to
Against
nail
them.
the
Yeah,
people.
to nail them.
So they
So I remember very well
they
that
threw the recommendations in the bin.
after the recommendation, a very astute member of the FA told me that, "Maye, nenso yemfa nye juma."
Can you imagine?
I'm telling you today,
Can you imagine?
and that document,
You're sitting on the shelf.
unfortunately, Ben Kofi is dead. Coach Ade is gone. I'm around. Otia Kentin is around. Masaudi Dramani is around. The document was drafted in such a way that once the FA accepted it,
Yeah, you can
the
implement.
brain now will now come and expand the document and will begin to even take it down to our schools. Oma to actually.
And coach, just to come back. In fact, the football document that our technical director
Mr. Lippert.
is working on,
Is the similar thing?
very similar thing. And you see, he is German. He is passed through the German educational system, football educational system, and he's trying to transfer a similar thing. But his advice is falling on deaf ears. If your fundamentals are weak, look, it will reflect at national team.
You will be
It
exposed.
will be exposed.
You should talk to him about youth development.
It's crazy.
He starts to rant.
Look.
He goes on and on and on.
It's so heartbreaking. But you let me leave this first point and let me go to the second point. Today, this is why I came here today. Let me do it and I can go and watch the match. See, today I was watching a documentary for the third time. I've watched it 3 times this week. The Ghana channel on YouTube. The documentary was produced by brother Fentu Tahiru. I was watching it. It's a story on Ghana's first World Cup, the journey to our first World Cup.
You saw me in that document.
I saw you giving some hot points. Look, in the documentary, the former GFA president, Kwesi Nyantakyi, he said, when we played the South Africa game and we beat them 3-0,
3-0 here.
and our qualification came back on track, they went to the presidency and they said, President Kufuor, Your Excellency, based on, that's the key phrase, based on what we've done, it looks like there's something promising. Let us increase the players' bonuses as extra motivation so that it will push them. Kufuor thought it wise, so he increased. You understand? When you are working in an organization and the management looks at your good work,
You're
they
always
say,
rewarded.
based on your good work, we'll reward you. When you are doing bad, based on what you are doing bad, you are going to be punished. This standard Black Stars bonus system, the current team doesn't deserve it. You can't come and inherit the goodwill of a past team.
No.
No. Based on the performances for the last 3 years, which is this crop of players, we should slash it about at least 75%. I'm
I
serious.
thought you were about to say even 50%.
No, 50% is not enough because we are in economic crisis. If we are haircutting everything, the
So
Black Stars
25%
bonus
is economics. Then
Oh,
50%
simple.
is performance.
is performance.
75.
Look.
Clean.
I'm very, very serious.
You make wild.
I make wild.
You mean you
Because-
can't be exiting round of 16, group stage, and still be collecting money
No.
as somebody who made a quarter final
Look,
and a
we'll
semi-final?
call them. This is the new thing. You get $5,000 when you play for Black Stars. In fact, it's not even 75%. Me, I'm saying they should give them $5,000 bonus. Go back to $5,000. Tell them. In fact, make it uniform, equal pay. If the Black Queens are getting this, you are getting this. You are not better than them.
Feminism.
You've not won anything in 40 years.
Right now,
Yeah,
we're in
the
the
same
era of equal pay.
Look.
Right now, we're in the era of equal pay.
Tell them that if you are not happy, there is the door. Go away. Because there are players out there.
Yep.
One of the best player in the Moroccan team who is in the quarterfinals of the FIFA World Cup. He will play tomorrow, 3 p.m. sharp. When they give him bonuses, since he started playing for Morocco,
He donates
he
it.
has never taken the bonus. He donates it to some of the staff in the team, charities.
Charity, yep.
No, he doesn't take it.
Hakim Ziyech.
That's Hakim Ziyech I'm talking about. There was it 2014 World Cup or 2018, the English national team. When they give them the bonuses, all of them straight to charity. They don't take it. It's an honor to play for your country. If all of you came out to tweet that you are honored to play for the country, it was an honor. Oh, this is not the results we wanted. We know, you don't need to tell us. This is not the results we wanted. But next time, the next time, no, just know that based on your performance, you see, it's a track record we are doing. When you start showing us that you deserve.
But this thing you propose, you go worry Barnier, Charlie. Barnier don't go happy with you.
See,
Barnier and Danlad won't be happy.
If Barnier and Danlad are unhappy that they are slashing bonuses so do not get some to chop, then it just shows you the sort of culture we are breeding in the team.
The quarter, there is no, we are breeding. The quarter has already gone.
The fact is that
he's graduated university
and done like done to deserve the money.
it. That's what I'm saying.
The question.
What have you done? What have you done?
Yep.
No, Inketia, see. The day I was coming into this company, I didn't enter and say, hey, how much is Bernard ending? Samens, give me the same thing.
The same thing.
Oh! You start from somewhere.
Then you work your way
Then
up.
you work your way up.
Yep.
So if this team has not done, this current crop of Black Stars, 2019, they started from 2019.
Round of 16.
Round of 16, beans.
The next AFCON,
Next
group stage,
AFCON, group
finish
stage,
bottom.
the worst in the country's history. World Cup, last Pepe in your group.
That's the only AFCON we've not
Not
won.
only your group, like
The whole
among the African
teams. You don't
teams.
look, you don't deserve the monies that you are being given.
$100,000
If you are being honest
appearance
with
fee.
yourself. Because seriously, if they had made a round of 16 or they had made a quarterfinals, they'll expect that we increase it. Or it was part of the deal.
Oh, yeah.
We increase it.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are not doing well and you have set a trend that you are not doing well, why are we still maintaining the bonus cap that you came to meet? No.
You mean we must
Look,
set
me, I put
everything
money in the
up
bank.
front?
I've not done anything. They end it all. They end it. You see,
They ended
when you listen to
giving
what
them $1,000 Ghana,
Yeah.
$1,000 to $2,000
to
$4,000. Then boom,
Look, when you listen to what Nyantechi was saying, anytime he went to the presidency, he has something to stand on. Last time we gave them 2,000, they gave us this. Mr. President, I think that based on
They have done enough to
they have
end
done
this.
enough. Let us give them this. Then you say, oh, okay. Let us give them this. Then you say, oh, okay. What have you done? No, seriously. What have you done to deserve
I
this?
told you, round of 16 exit, group stage exit, group stage exit.
No, you see, that is not Ghana standard. So that is something we need to start doing. And look, we need to clean the mentality of this Black Stars team. We need to clean the culture. It's not good. And all the people around the team too, it's not good. What kind of...
Did you see our bench? Did you ever get a chance to catch a full glimpse of our bench?
Come to fire somebody. Let me fire. Then I'll... You like somebody. We know that the person belongs to you. Okay. We know. The person has gone into battle. Who knows so? You know you can shut up. Do you know you can just shut up? Do you know you don't need to come and say anything?
just shut up.
You know you can just shut your mouth. Why do you need to come out and put somebody's reputation, Charlie? In these times that we are in, and this is somebody's
profession
this is what
on
I
the line.
hate. Look, Ingetia, I hate this where we've become how we've become as a country. Black Stars. Look, the environment is so negative that anything you say, anything you say, it has sparked. And you know,
And
based on the knowledge,
these are people close to the team.
you know,
You knew exactly what was
you
happening.
knew exactly what you are doing.
Came and lie.
And you finish and I come to play smart like you didn't mention anybody's name. Do you think we are stupid?
Oh, is that what he tried to do? Tried to say it wasn't Gideon Mensah he was talking about?
No,
See,
but even
this
for,
thing,
for trying to even mention Dr. Pambot's name, Look, the man's profession, somebody's profession.
See,
People's
If we are
reputation.
serious,
and credibility.
if we are serious,
See,
see, Nketia,
Yeah,
if we
bala,
are
bala,
serious, if we are serious footballing
What?
country, that person, the people around, all of them should just get them away from the team. Because if I give you this much access to the team,
Yeah.
You can
You
do
can
this.
lie like
you
this.
can lie like this. Do you think the players are not human beings?
Yep.
And then Gideon Mensah picks up his phone and he sees that
They say I
did
I
it
feigned an
because
injury.
of this player. Then Gideon Mensah's friend in the team too. Oh, because of this player. And they are sitting in the WhatsApp group, but they've created subgroups
Yes.
and they are now what kind of
You're just creating more
What is
division
that?
within the team.
Nketia,
A team
wait.
that's already fractured.
who is the communications director for the FA?
Oh, our good friend
Henry
Mr.
Asante
Asante Shum.
Shum.
Oh, it's him. He's still the one.
Henry comes, yes.
So why is it that the work around communications, the work around
It's not
media
done through him.
was being done through what is it?
And it happened at the AFCON as well. It didn't just happen this World
No,
Cup.
I'm confused.
I'm equally.
That's when they were asking somebody, what
what
is
is-
your favorite dance?
Yeah. What kind of Bobby
what kind
Daddy
of-
do you like?
Charlie, we need to be serious.
These are the people we've granted access
Let's-
to. And these people were getting a chance to literally sit on the bench of the team during
Yes.
games.
They were sitting on the bench. I couldn't believe it. All because of Keto Kreku. He has allowed these things to happen. Keto Kreku can be in favor.
Martin Luther King.
What team is so ordinary? Anybody at all can
Daniel,
just go and
please,
misbehave.
please land for me. Let's land for me and let's talk
Charlie.
about. Let me talk about Croatia and this thing real quick. Brazil.
See,
Just land for me.
Ghana. This thing, I'm not happy because after 2017 AFCON, I said the same thing. After 2019 AFCON, I said the same thing. This knee jerk every time this thing happens.
Yeah.
They sack the coach.
Apologize.
Do this,
Yeah.
The players do
Yeah.
this. We'll find
Same
blame.
same
It is
old,
this
same
player.
old.
We'll go round.
Same old, same old. I was just saying.
Look, the thing no.
Anything we haven't changed the GFA.
The thing no. Who told you?
This management
2017 AFCON was different from this
management.
team.
You know we talk about the management members. No, what were they doing?
Charlie, do the honorable thing. Sack yourself. Resign. Or ask coach.
Resign, go.
Don't even stand for the
next election.
You see, coach, my problem is that
The foot, those
even the people contesting with him too.
Yeah,
they also have
Also
problem.
have this problem.
They also have. We want to see them. They
also have this problem.
We are waiting to see
I
them.
said that it is football people in Ghana who
How
are
can
the
you?
problem.
How can you
It is
have?
football
How
people.
can you be running for presidency? How can you be and you represent players? Players who are capable of making a Black Stars.
Yep. And you
So
own you own football clubs.
You own football clubs. So why wouldn't there be a conflict of interest? Charlie, respect yourself.
It is permanently. It is in our DNA. It won't go
But
anywhere.
you see, isn't this the same thing they are discussing in Parliament? Conflict of interest.
Yep. Let me read a few messages that have been coming through, and then we'll try and see if we can make sense of that Brazil exit from the World Cup. Argentina look like they're about to dump out the Dutch as well.
This
if
one,
things
there's
will
no
change.
sense to be made.
There's
They
a-
squeezed the life out of Brazil. And Brazil were naive.
Yeah, let me get back to that in a bit. This one says, good evening, Sports Panorama. This is Gobe Sika Nsifie, aka Addicted to Gobe. Listening live from Dansoman. Says Brazil won Germany 7. A whole host nation suffered this kind of result. And the football historians don't talk about it. Their glory days are like past tense. Amai Jewa says, good evening, critical analyst of football. Excited to be part of today's session of Sports Panorama. You guys make my Friday nights. Eben Insuo from Spintex says,
Abensu.
Abensuo.
Oh,
I know spell am. This no be how they spell Abe. Abe the minimum Abe pa. Abensuo the minimum Abensuo pa. It says, Cat, should dare impose your boating on us. We do not want another Matra Makwe. The people are tired tossing in names. So.
Matra Marquez.
Lambert from Dodo says, yeah, Charlie. Say, good evening,
That's
Ben.
one of coach's original
Welcome
words.
back. As I have been saying before the World Cup, our players are good individually, but not yet a team. Let them get a very good manager and a few additions, and I'm sure we will be good to go. Ali Duseidu gave a very good account of himself, but for a player to make his first appearance for a nation in the World Cup shows we are not serious. Team chemistry is very important. I said we were only going to play 3 matches at the World Cup, and people thought I was being petty. The signs were clear. Kofi Nelson says, Ben, I agree with everything you said, but please, Asamoah's penalty miss is all forgotten. Is the day's cross to carry now? Hamid from Medina says the appointment of incompetent coaches is deliberate. It's a ploy to have control over the decisions of the coaches. This one here says, good evening, Ben. Good evening, guy. I feel so sad for Ben Nketiah this evening. Dede Ayew doesn't owe anyone an apology. It was just sad he missed the penalty, and the fact that he didn't go to thank the fans after the game is not an issue at all. Please don't attach emotions to your submission. I think that's absolute rubbish.
That,
I'm just let you know. No, it's rubbish.
No, but
if you are, imagine that. Imagine everybody go, and then you, the captain, don't think you should be part of that group.
It sends the wrong message. I disagree with you on the apology part, but if you are going to release a statement, it should be an apology.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of trying to do this emotional blackmail thing, come on. This one here says, like I said, since day one, Argentina will win the cup. So Alex doing with that one.
Van Dijk.
Honestly, I don't know, Ben, if you caused the Argentina goal, but the pass Messi gave for that goal.
Yeah.
What?
Van Dijk. Van Dijk.
This one says, Danny K, we Messi fans will DM you after the match. Oko in Medina. So I like you for watch your DMs, DK. This one here says, I agree with Coach Nimley. Kurt Okreko is destroying Ghana football. Remember those loose statements he made after the AFCON about the fact that there is no Ronaldo and Messi? If there's Ronaldo and Messi, we should add them to the squad. He sat at Bet Power meetings accusing people of destroying Ghana football. This one here says, enjoying my favorite show. Without you guys, my Fridays are incomplete. Good to have Ben back from Qatar. As for Ghana football, the rot in the system runs too deep, and it'll take a huge mentality shift to get rid of the canker, beginning with the current administration. He should do the honorable thing and resign. Jesse Hornsby Odoi from Kaswa with that one. This one says, Nathan keeps saying time and again that Ghana is the only country in this universe which has been handed countless opportunities to put things right, but will always do the opposite. Idi Goro from Tema Community 1, Site 10. Okay. This one says, go back and check the backroom staff that went to Qatar. You will see that majority of them are from Vision FC, and that chief of staff at the FA. What is he chief of staffing? Ben in Tema, Charlie. Mike from Taifa says, the funny thing is these banks are also increasing the rates loans that were taken before this crisis. This is okay. I can't mention the name, but Coach says he will storm whichever bank.
Oh no, storm Genesis.
I'm looking for.
Coach, like I said, please call me. I will come with you.
Let's talk quickly about Brazil versus Croatia. Croatia have dumped Brazil out.
Yeah, it was a crazy game.
How do you feel about that? Let me just get started. I'll come back to you in a bit.
I thought Brazil would win this in regulation time, but as the game traveled, I started to worry a little for Brazil that actually this will end up being crazy. Then they scored, and then I said, okay, they should handle this well. But even after Brazil scored, there was just this feeling in my gut that this game will take a crazy turn, and it did. The Croats found an equalizer, and once it got to the shootout, you just knew that Croatia's strength in mentality would be key, and I think they handled themselves very, very well in that shootout. For Brazil, this is an absolute letdown because they started the tournament really well. They had put together a good crop. Everybody thought this was going to be it. 20 years after winning the last one, they were going to win another one. It hasn't happened.
Some few days ago, they were dancing. TT2 was dancing.
It's funny how life can just come at you so fast.
I honestly didn't think Croatia getting back into it.
I'm sure Roy Keane must be laughing. When I told you people...
Now they can go home and dance. I'm sure you say something.
But can we point out something? Croatia have only won one game. That was against Canada.
Yeah.
That's the only game they've won.
Yeah. In open play.
Yeah.
In open play. So, it's just a very interesting run they are on. That's 4 World Cup penalty shootouts across 2 tournaments. 2 in the last one, 2 in this one. And they've won everyone. So, they are turning themselves out
That's the most in history.
Most in history.
Tied with Argentina. But Argentina have lost their shootouts before.
This tournament football, your game plan
But coach, we were talking about it earlier. I want you to just break down what went wrong on the Brazil goal. From a tactical perspective.
They conceded.
Yes. I was so shocked. Look, at that time, second half of extra time, you are leading. I was surprised when they committed.
They had only 3 players.
7 of their players.
Yeah, there are only 3 players.
Including the master DM himself, Casemiro, all in the half of the Croatians. I couldn't believe that. As to why Tite didn't see that, any of the assistants didn't see that. We're leading, you are winning the game. And you were
attacking as if they're the ones chasing the game.
Allow Anthony and Neymar to draw the fouls, delay the game, stop the tempo, change the rhythm, adjust. Allow them to do those things.
Yeah.
Why do you had brought on Fred, somebody who was brought on to provide some form of shield. Why do you get all of them involved?
Yeah. The sequence started with Fred losing the ball. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden...
Modric out-muzzled his marker, laid out the pass, and then the counter started.
And when I saw them 4-on-3, I saw there were 4 Croatians and 3 Brazilians. I was shocked.
Yes.
I was horrified. And the moment that goal went in, I was watching
knew they were
in
going
the
to win
online.
it.
I said, that's it. Brazil are
It was
done.
the Croatian goalkeeper
That second goal was
against Japan.
Livakovic.
that he's indeed
Susu Graham's
solid
best
penalty.
friend, Livakovic.
So you know I've been buying him on Football Manager.
Yeah.
I they believe I'm wow.
Charlie,
Don't
no,
that one.
I
There,
saw
I
Oliver.
believe
I'm just saying, is the name stuck now?
Levi, now they remember. I saw Oliver Kahn.
right now, it brings heartbreak. When I
I
hear
saw,
the name,
I saw
Livakovic.
Oliver Kahn in the stands just watching carefully. Probably must be on the phone to the people at Bayern and say, "Get this guy. Let's sign this guy."
they have
Let him replace
Oh,
Manuel
no,
Neuer.
they have their replacements already.
How old is he?
Alexander Nubel, he's on loan at Monaco. They have their
How
replacement.
old is Livakovic?
He's I want to say
Let me
maybe
check.
25, 26. I
He
want to
looks
say
very young. Oh.
He's young.
He's
young.
I think he's
And I
at
think
least
to
25.
have built this reputation as a very
He's
good,
27.
27. Yeah.
you know, to have built this
Oh,
reputation,
baby face. Why?
you know, as a penalty stopper, this will be very
and
disappointing.
he's still playing at Dinamo Zagreb.
You know, he hasn't left Croatia. This will be very disappointing for the Brazilians. Very, very
Guys,
disappointing.
who's winning the one that's happening now? Netherlands down by a goal to Argentina.
From the little I've been able to glean whilst we've been on air, I've not seen much of the Netherlands. It's been mostly Argentina. But again, it's what exactly we complain about on the show. It's the Messi show. You know, it's too much Messi. The other people need to help him a bit more. They need to make things easier for him. But yeah,
I'm not
If
sure
you
they
have-
will mind.
but the
if they can
Dutch,
go
the
to-
Dutch are struggling to be coherent.
Actually,
They are
to even
struggling to
create.
be coherent.
They're just
Sad
trying-
stuff. Any shout outs before we go? Quick shout outs before
No,
we
shout
go.
out to Keto Kriku.
Martin Luther King, that's his name now.
Resign Keto
Martin
Kriku.
Luther-
No more, no more,
Giving powerful speeches in the dressing room.
Nuchuma onyochu if you know ko ya pe wo onyochu nuchuma ya no ya jowo, that's all.
Sounds like somebody I know who was in parliament.